Wendy Wicked was found on September 14, 2013. Cops found her car with a key ignition near Lake Melvin Lodge on Bay Road. Also, they found another set of tire tracks next to the car. Several drops of blood and a tire were also found inside the car. Several days later, the police received a call from Lake Melvin Lodge about suspicious activity happening in room 321. As the police investigated the room, it was concluded that it was a crime scene due to the glass shattered window everywhere, furniture scattered, and several drops. It was determined there was a struggle between the victim and their unknown kidnappers. As the investigation went on, the police saw a body next to the dumpster from the broken window. It was Wendy Wicked lying on her side with a bullet hole in her chest.
Wendy Wicked was murdered on September 9th, 2013. This was determined by the size of the maggots found on her body. Detective CLUE2 obtained fingerprints, interviewed all the suspects, photographed the entire impressions, and sampled blood from the crime scene. William Wicked's fingerprints were found on Wendy Wicked's body, her car, Lake Melvin Lodge room, and the tire iron. Kay Kingsbury's fingerprints were found on the victim in the victim's car, and her tire tracks were found by the victim's car near Lake Melvin. Pam Poland's fingerprints were found in the victim's car and in the room. She was also the only person who had access to the room. Varner's fingerprints were found on Wendy, and her blood was in the room. Angus's DNA was found under the victim's fingernails, on the tire iron, and in the victim's car. Mr. Young was ruled out because of the lack of evidence. He had a confirmed alibi, and his DNA was similar to Varner's.
Our primary suspect is Varner.
What do you have to say about that, Varner?
He has an unconfirmed alibi the day of Wendy's suspected death. Her fingerprints are on the victim's body and also in the room. Varner is a registered gun owner as well. Also, her blood was found in the room. Although Varner is the primary suspect, William, Poland, Kingsbury, and Angus were all accomplices in the murder. Kingsbury's tire tracks were found near the abandoned car. Although she has a confirmed alibi for the time of death, she assisted in tampering with the vehicle and ditching the car near Lake Melvin. Poland also had a confirmed alibi for the time of death, but she assisted in the plan for getting Wendy to the room. Angus assisted in tampering with the car and has an unconfirmed alibi as well. William's fingerprints were also found on the victim and in the room, and he has a motive to kill her. And on top of that, he raised her life insurance to $3 million.
Varner, Angus, Poland and Wicked, and Kingsbury all had motives for killing Wendy. All suspects created a plan to kidnap Wicked to convince her to no longer be mayor of Cashowtown. Vicky Varner initiated the plan by kidnapping Wendy Wicked at Lake Melvin Lodge, where Poland agreed to rent a room at the lodge and say she was using it for her environmental science studies. When Wendy was held captive from Monday, September 1st until Sunday, September 8th. During that time, the suspects checked up on her, beating and torturing her, in hopes of getting her to resign as mayor. This explains the suspect's DNA and blood were found in the room and on the victim. She escaped on the 8th day, then was followed by Poland, Angus, Kingsbury, and William in Kingsbury's car. When Wendy pulled up to the lake, William and Angus grabbed her and had a struggle with her in the car, where she scratched Angus, leaving Angus's DNA under her fingernails. Poland then hit her on the back of the head with the tire iron, knocking her unconscious, and taking her back to the room at the lodge. She woke up the next day and was confronted by Varner, where they got into a fight, and Varner shot Wendy in the chest with a 9mm car handgun. Wendy's momentum from the shot to the chest made her fall backwards out of the room window on the third floor, landing near the dumpsters. They left her body there and fled the scene, returning to their normal lives as if nothing had happened.
Go.
The other suspects were not ruled out. All of them had a motive for killing her. Young was the only one ruled out because he doesn't have a strong enough motive for killing her. To further the investigation, suspects should be interviewed to find out what they did after the alleged time of death to confirm their suspicions in the crime. Finding out what suspects did in their lives after the crime would help with the investigation. It is ethical to obtain DNA from a suspect that was taken into the police station for questioning. Even if they are not the primary suspects and only being questioned, should it still be ethical to take their DNA? Our team considers it ethical to convict Young as having any part in the case when his DNA could be mistaken for his sister's. Any fingerprints or blood that is at the science of a crime should be allowed to use, and that person should be a suspect until proven not guilty.
Wendy Lincoln was not supposed to die this way. This woman right here did it. She's happy. She's happy she did it.